Yeah, students, are you able to hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Can you inform it to our classmates? I think we have only 18 students. Okay, any doubt in the previous class, yesterday's class portions? Yesterday we discussed the basic concepts. Are you able to see the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, any doubt in the previous class portion, yesterday's class portion? So yesterday we started with the syllabus. Any doubt in the syllabus, the topics, what we discussed? Any doubt in yesterday's portions? So we started with what is software engineering, and we discussed what is the core objective of our course, and learning outcomes, program outcomes, and program specific outcomes, and COPO mapping. Then we discussed about the syllabus. So our syllabus is having 5 modules, and the evaluation process will be, we have semester and exam for 70 marks and internal assessment for 30 marks, and it is in 3 credit subjects, so we'll have 3 hours. Every week we'll have 3 hours class. Then we discussed what is the objective of the course objectives. Then we discussed the course outcomes. Then we discussed how the CO and PO are mapped in your course. Then we saw the various topics which are given to you in 5 modules, and how many hours we need to complete the syllabus. And in each unit, what are the course objectives are met. If you take the module 1, the course objectives 1, 2, 3 are met. Are you able to follow me? Are you able to see the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
The screen, a PPT screen is visible to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Are you able to understand what I told? The syllabus, COPO mapping, everything? Any doubt in that?
Ma'am.
Yeah, any doubt? No doubts?
No, ma'am. No doubts.
Okay, so we have module 1. We have the following topics in the module 1, and module 2, module 3, 4, and 5. So the total hours of teaching will be 60 hours. And the module 1, it covers your CO1, CO2, and CO3. Module 2 covers your CO4 and 3 CO5, and module 4 CO5 and 6, and module 5 CO5 and CO6. So then we saw what are the prescribed textbooks. So the textbook means that your actual syllabus modules, each and every topic is taken from the corresponding textbook. And the reference books means the additional references, case studies, examples are taken from the reference books. Then we started with some fundamental concepts of software engineering. So in the yesterday's class, we discussed we discussed a few topics. The screen is visible to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So in the previous class, we discussed software, types of software, and we saw the definition for software. Software is its collection of the programming code as well as the documents associated with the software. Software is it is a big program, or we can say it is a collection of programs. So here we'll have programs from some program different. Here we may use different languages. The screen is visible to you, girls?
No, ma'am.
Yeah, I think there is some connectivity problem. Are you able to see the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
No, ma'am. It's like, are you sure?
Yeah, it's opening. It's taking long time to open.
Okay.
Yeah, the screen is visible to you now. Students,
Yes, ma'am.
are you able to see the screen? Yeah, what you are seeing in the screen, can you read out?
What is software?
Yes, sir. So in the previous class itself, we discussed what is software. So program means it is a small, programs, we will try to solve only one problem or any given problem. It may be very small in size. We may use only one programming language, hardware, that is a language or a database table. So we may create a table using Oracle or MySQL. So for the given student table or something, or you may create a Java program or C program or C++ program for a student maintenance system or something, or you may use a front-end tool as well as back-end tool. So the programs are written to solve a particular problem. But in case of software, we will take the real-time examples or real-time problems as it is, and we will try to use more than one language to make the programs, and we will try to use more than one backend tool, like more than one. You may use some Excel tables, or you may use some Oracle tables as well as MySQL tables to store the data in the backend. And we will use some user-friendly web page design softwares and crystal reports, all those things to generate the reports. So a program software is collection of different programs as well as collection of some front-end programs as well as back-end databases and some interconnectivity softwares, audio, video softwares, all together. We will create a full package. So it is, and we can say it is a size of the softwares will be big in size, and it will associate, the softwares will be associated with more than one, not necessary to more than one language and more than one database. If necessary, we can make use of more than one programming language as well as backend tool. Along with the software, we will create some reports, project reports or user manuals as well as some documents. All put together, we will call it as software. And product means the product is software products are developed for a particular customer according to their needs and requirements, and that will be available in the market. And we discussed the types of software, like custom softwares. Say for example, the hospital management systems or educational maintenance systems or educational attendance or library softwares and retail billing softwares. So those softwares will come under custom softwares. The custom softwares are created based on the domain of the project. Say it may be hospital domain, or it may be airlines domain, or educational domain, library or book management domain, or it may be some supermarket based one. So based or online booking systems. So it is created according to the need of a particular domain or a particular area. So the advantage and disadvantages are most efficient system for specific needs, and disadvantages cost and time we need to spend to create a new software. And the generic softwares are, it is custom made softwares. We will call it as commercial off the shelf softwares. Say for example, the spreadsheet and data structures concept like star can be used in any programming aspect. Then we discussed the embedded softwares. So the embedded softwares will have the hardware component as well as the software component. Say for example, the washing machine softwares, we are operating the washing machine through the touchpad or remote, and DVD players, micro oven, and other automobile softwares. And the real-time softwares are created based on the real-time needs. Say for example, safety-based softwares or control and monitoring systems, pushing the buttons and operating the system manually. And data processing softwares are used to process very large amount of data. Say the banking softwares used to process n number of customers' data, as well as the mock students' mock list processing, or entrance examination system softwares, where we will process very large amount of data for more than 10,000, 20,000 customers. So if you then we are entering into software engineering basics. So then what is software engineering means? A software is more than just a program code. So it is not a small or simple program code. It is more than a software program code. A program is an executable code which serves some computational purpose. So a software is having a set of codes that if you execute the code, we will get the corresponding result. Software is considered to be collection of executable programming code, associated libraries, and documents. So in software, we'll have the code as well as the libraries, associated library built-in functions, and the documents like a user manual and project reports associated with that. All three components put together is called software. And software, when made for your specific requirement, is called software product. If your software is created for a particular person's need or a particular company's need, then we will call it as a product. So the term engineering, on the other hand, is all about developing products using well-defined scientific principles and methods. So software means it is related with computer science, and engineering means the word engineering is common to all the specialization branches. So can you tell me which is the oldest engineering branch? What are the engineering branches we have? The term engineering is common to all the branches. We will say civil engineering, mechanical engineering, production engineering, instrumentation, aerospace. So the word engineering, how the word engineering is associated with software? Can you tell me? So software is, it's based on the program, software computer programs and the documents. And the word along with the software engineering means that in a software also we are developing something. We are creating a new product, or we are creating a new software component, and it is used by a number of customers. So we are and the software creating the software product is a systematic approach. We need to follow some life cycle stages, and it is an process, the process that produces an output or product, end product. So we are using the term engineering along with the software because it is a series of activities. Are you able to see the screen? Any doubt in what is software engineering? Any doubt? Any doubt here? What is software? What is software engineering?
No, ma'am, no doubt.
Okay, can you tell me, Rishika, can you tell me what is engineering? When we will use the term engineering? Engineering, all the engineering activities will have, they will take some raw material. Say for example, if it is civil engineering, we will take the sand, cement, and steel, and we will create the end product as buildings. The same way, if you take mechanical engineering, we will take the spare parts, we will create the spare parts, we will assemble the spare parts, and we will bring out an automobile, maybe two-wheeler, four-wheeler, or any machine. So in any engineering process, we'll have some raw material. The raw material will be processed by using the various steps and methods, and we will find we'll come out with the end product will be an product. So raw material processing and getting an end product is called engineering activity. The same way in software also, in computer programming also, we are not bringing an end product. That is, we are not creating a physical device. In general, in software engineering, if it is embedded system, we'll have an and physical device as an end product. We are doing all those things as an coding or in the logical form. But here also we are taking some raw material, then we are doing so many activities, and we are coming out with an software product. So we are using the term software engineering means the set of activities which are related with creating an complete software package. So you got the idea? Vineet Kumar, can you give me an example for any application software engineering product, whatever you come across? Sarveshwar, who is the class representative for this A session and B session?
Ma'am.
Yeah. Who is A session representative and B session representative?
Ma'am, I'm from A section.
Sarveshwar is for A session, huh?
Yes, ma'am. Me and Swati.
I'm
Yeah.
for B section, ma'am.
Ma'am, I'm for B section. Me and Vamsi.
Yeah. Who is B section?
Prati and
Vamsi.
Vamsi.
Okay. A session?
Ma'am, Sarvesh and Swati.
Okay. So you please message me separately so that I will note down for any further communications. So you got the idea what is software engineering and software engineering end product? Yeah. So the next topic is called software engineering. Is an engineering branch associated with the development of software product using well-defined scientific principles, methods, and procedures. So in software engineering, in this course, what we are going to study is, we are going to study the good practices or the well-defined methods and scientifically proven scientific principles and methods and procedures that we can follow to create an effective user-friendly software product. So when we are going to create a software project, or while working as a software programmer or a tech lead or a manager, in that case a project will be given to you. So when you create the project as a software engineer, so you need to follow the well-defined scientific principles and methods and procedures based on your project. Then only you will come out with an universal software project that can be used by anyone. Say for example, we are using so many software products like WhatsApp, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, so many softwares we are using. So it is used throughout the world. So many people, even educated people, uneducated people, laymen, everybody is using. Why everybody is using? Because it is very user friendly, easy to use, easy to understand. They can call, they can chat, they can send message, video messages, audio messages. So everybody is within 1 or 2 times usage itself, they are understanding and they are using in their mobiles. The same way, when you create any project, the project should be usable to the all the people, not only educated person, students, student or children, those who are in the education domain. It should be usable by all the people, and it should be accessible throughout the world. All the not only people from America or Canada can use. It should be usable by all the people, even in South Africa, Yemen, Oman. So any country people should be in a position to understand your project, and they should be make use of your project. If it is very complicated, they cannot be able to understand, they will delete the uninstall the software. So you have to create, when you follow well-defined scientific principles, methods, and procedures, then your project will be acceptable by all the people. And so to know the principles and scientific principles, methods, and procedures, these are the 3 things we are going to study in our software engineering course. We will study some principles, we will study some methods, we are going to study some procedures that we have to follow while creating any software. So it's almost, we can say this subject is full of theory subject, with a number of methods, a number of procedures, a number of testing conditions, and the principles, the diagrams. So we will study about how to analyze, how to design, and how to test. Here no coding, no particular logic, syntax, semantics like data structures or operating system, nothing like that. It's almost like management concepts, principles. The outcome of software engineering is an efficient and reliable software product. So why we are studying this course means, when you study and understand the software engineering principles, methods, and procedures, you can able to create an efficient and reliable software product. So in software engineering, while creating any software product, what are the things we need to consider means, first, for the given problem or for the given project, you have to identify what is the problem, how manually the problem is so far handled, and how I can automate the same problem using computer software. For that, first we have to go for requirements analysis. Then we will go for what are the requirements, what are the input parameters, functions, classes, all those things. And then system analysis, how I can model the system by using the requirements. Then we will go for system design. First we need to analyze the system, then design the system, then code the system, do the implementation by using the coding. Once the coding is done, compile and execute. Then you check for the testing. By using testing methods, we will check whether it's accepting the input and which kind of input it is accepting, what are the constraints in that, and whether it's producing the required output or not. So those things will be done in testing. It may be manual testing or automated testing methods. Then once the testing is over, it is ready to use. Quality is checked, and once the testing is approved by the quality committee, then it can be deployed in the actual usage environment. It will be given to the end user, that is called deployment. Then the end users will be start using your project, and after 6 months or after 1 month, based on the new complaints, we will go for the maintenance. We'll try to update the software as well as the functions. So that is called maintenance. So these are the activities associated with software engineering while creating any software product. Then what is software engineering means? The term software engineering is defined the following 4 key points. Solving customers' problem. So by using software engineering process, you should solve the customer's problem. With the customers or the person who is giving you the project will tell you their problem. So your project should solve the particular systematic development and evaluation of your project should be done. Large high quantity software system should be designed by using the principles and methods. Cost, time and other constraints of your project should be estimated. So whatever the software project, you have to identify the problems in the software, then create the develop the software and evaluate the software, and identify the risk areas of your project, and check for testing, and identify the quality software. Then we have to estimate how much money we need to implement the software and how much time we need to create the software, and other constraints. We need to follow the rules and regulations, and we need to get any permission from the government. All other constraints should be checked. So in software engineering, we are going to study all the 4 components: cost estimation, time estimation, evaluating the software, designing the software, developing the software, identifying the problem. So the process of solving customers' problem by the systematic development and evaluation of large, high quality software systems within cost, time and other constraints. So that is the main idea of software engineering. So while studying this course, you will be able to analyze the problem, design the problem, develop the problem, and you can able to test your product. Then you can able to estimate how much money I need to complete this project, and how much time I need, whether I need 6 months or 10 months or I need 1 year. So the time needed, how many people I need to code the software, everything should be, as a software engineer, you are capable of doing all the 4 activities. And the software engineering paradigms. So paradigms means we are having some methods or techniques to create any software. Say for example, if you want to create an particular model, so we'll have some mold, or we'll have some blueprint. We'll follow the blueprint. Then we can say, if you want to construct a house or apartment, initially we'll create a blueprint. By following the blueprint will show you how many rooms are there, how many halls are there, how many windows, doors are there. Everything will be specified in the blueprint. What is the height of the wall, what is the design, everything will be specified in the blueprint. By following the blueprint, we are constructing the house. The same way, while designing any vehicle, we will have the model of the vehicle. By following the model, we are creating the automobile vehicles. The same way, the software engineering paradigms or frameworks or methods gives you a blueprint or a model. If you follow that particular model, you can come out with the end product. So the software paradigms refers to the method and state which are taken when designing the software. So that gives you the various methods which we can follow to complete the software project. Programming paradigm is a subset of software design paradigm, which is further a subset of software development paradigm. So we'll have the programming as a core, and we'll have the software design. Programming is only the coding, and we need to create the design. The design gives you how we are entering the input and how we are, programming is actual processing. The design is the various input design, output design, system design, component design, all the design components. And the all together, programming and design put together, we'll call it as an software development. So the software development is a superset. Within the superset, we have software design as a subset. Within software design, we have programming as a subset. So this is the framework or paradigm which we need to follow while designing any software project. So the software engineering, various software engineering paradigms are, we'll have software development paradigm, software design paradigm, and programming paradigm. In software development, it includes various researches and requirement gathering, which helps software product to build. It consists of requirements gathering, software design, and programming. So in the software development paradigm, so it is combination of collecting the requirements for your project, software requirements, hardware requirements, customer requirements, all the requirements we need to collect. Then we will go for the design, in which model we are going to use, whether we are going to use object oriented model or a database based model, layered architecture, or a pattern based model, so network model. So any model, which model we are going to follow in our programming. Then we'll go for the actual programming. Here we'll choose the programming language as well as various database tables. So the programming aspects will be done in the programming. So all three put together, we'll call it as software development paradigm. If you take the software design paradigm, the paradigm is part of the software development and includes hello. Yes, sir. Madam, I will call you after 15 minutes because I am in class. So if you take a software design paradigm, it's combination of various design aspects, maintenance aspects, and programming aspects. Programming in the sense, the actual coding. Maintenance in the sense, how we are going to maintain, so the software maintenance, that is checking for antivirus and other bugs and testing aspects. And the design means whether we are going to design using database design or what is the front end design, what is the back end design, or web based design. So all the design aspects of your programming. So that is called software design paradigm. So it means that how the software is going to be designed. So here we will consider these three main parameters. And if you take the programming design, here the paradigm is related closely to programming aspect of software development. That includes the actual coding, the lines of code, and testing the code and integrating all the codes. Say in a coding itself, we'll have so many functions, so many tables, and we need to integrate all the functions in using main program, or we need to call and return the functions. So we have to execute each and every function one by one according to the need. So that the coding will be done. Once the coding is done for each and every module, all the modules will be integrated together to create the complete program. So because if the program is very big, we will not do all the functions in a single main program. We will make it as an modules. So we will have some separate components. Each component will perform a particular action. So that is called programming paradigm. So the programming paradigm is a subset of software design paradigm, and the software design paradigm is superset. This software development paradigm is superset of these two methods as specified in the diagram. So we'll have the programming paradigm, software design paradigm, and software development paradigm. So the software development paradigm is the superset for all these two paradigms. So the complete software development paradigm is studied in software engineering. The various types of software development paradigms are we are going to study in software engineering, because here we have more than 1,000 models or methods. So we need to follow a particular model according to our project. You got the idea? Any doubt in this, students? Any doubt in software paradigms?
No, ma'am.
Shall we continue?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Joshna, any doubt? What is a software paradigm? Attack. Shrikar, can you answer me what is paradigm? Prati Jain, one of you answer me. Nadim Ahmed, Vineet Kumar, Joshna. Please tell me what is paradigm. What is the term paradigm means? It's nothing but the framework or method or methodology which has to be followed while creating any software product. So we can say it is a framework. Framework means what? If you take any photo, in olden days they will take the photo and they will put the photo in a framework. So there will be some 4 sides, 4 corners. So within the 4 corners of a box frame, they will put the photo. So it means the photo is fit to the frame. It means that the same way while doing any software product, we have to fix your frame. What are the things I am going to do in my project? And within the frame includes the cost. Say if I am going to spend 1 lakh for my project, within the 1 lakh, I have to create the project. If I am going to complete the project within 1 year, within the frame of 1 year, I will schedule my all activities. The same way, if I am going to do the project in Java, I have to design all the components based on the Java statements. And if I'm going to use a database as MySQL, I will design all my tables in the MySQL itself. So that is called, so we are fixing everything. Once the requirements is fixed, software, hardware requirements, everything is fixed. And based on the requirements, further we'll proceed and we'll do the programming and we'll check for the testing. So the paradigm is nothing but the framework which we are going to follow to create the software. Then the next concept is called a need of software engineering. Why we are studying software engineering? What is the need? So programming languages, database, data structures, operating system, networks. You already studied graphics and visualization concepts, data science, database management system, all the things you already studied. By using all those concepts, you can directly go for software projects. Then what is the need for studying separate software engineering subject? What new things we are going to do, or how the concepts what we studied so far, we are going to make the model using the software engineering concepts. So the need for studying the software engineering is when we create large, we don't know how to handle the software, where to start the project, where to end the project, what are the things I need to do, what is the first thing I have to do, what is the last thing I can keep it for say for the project is for 1 year, the 10th month what I can do, the first 1 week what I can do, what are the things I need to collect. So to handle large software project based on the size and content, to manage and systematic activity, to become large engineering as to step to give you scientific processes, how to start the project and how to end the project. If the project is very long, what are the systematic activities I need to do, that we can understand by studying the software engineering concepts. And scalability means how many functions I am going to use, how many variables I will have in my project, how many classes I am going to use in my project, and how many tables or database I am going to use. All those things are specified in scalability. Scalability means scaling. Scaling means measuring. So measuring everything about your project, maybe the functions, classes, amount, and how many users, and how many tables, everything. And cost means how much money I need to develop the project, to buy the hardware components, to buy the new softwares, and paying the money to the programmers for integration, for testing, to make a complete project. So estimating the money for various aspects of your project, here we are going to study. how to manage the money, how to estimate the money for your project. That idea we are going to study in software engineering. And dynamic nature. So once I create my project, and how the project will act in the real-time scenario. So if I want to delete some components and I want and I want to use the old components in my project, reusability concept. Then if you use reusability concept, then it will be dynamic. So static means we cannot do any changes in our project once it is created. So the project should be dynamic in nature so that it will accommodate changes in your project, addition, deletion, and modification and upgradation of your project in future. So your project should be dynamic in nature. To implement the dynamic nature in your software project, what are the things we need to consider? And quality management. Quality in the sense, how good my project is, how standard my project is, what are the quality parameters I am considering, what are the ISO standards or the American ASCII standards I am following, so that the project is usable by all the people. It should be usable, understandable to any person in the world. So if you follow the standard scientific coding methods and scientific naming methods, the systematic, scientifically proven global methods and procedures in your project, then the quality of your project will be definitely very high. So these parameters we are going to study in our software engineering. So you already studied all the aspects about software computer science. When you know the programming and database concepts, everything, what is the need for studying the software engineering to create a program or to create a big project means? So to give you an idea how to start the project and how to end the project, how to measure your project, how to spend your money for various aspects of your project, how to create a reusable project, and how to test and make your project an universal one. So these aspects we are going to study through the principles, scientific methods, good practices. Got the idea? Students, got the idea? What is software engineering? What is the need for software engineering?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, any doubt in the need for software engineering? Why I need to study separate software engineering subject? It is same. It's looks like fully theory subject with so many principles and concepts and ideas. Already I studied all the programming aspects, methods, techniques. I have an experience of doing small programs. I know how to create a database. I will create a program and I will create a database. The same way I will create a number of programs and a number of databases. I will make it as a big program. Then the project, then the program will become software product. Not like that. So we need to follow some systematic aspects. We need to know how to split the project, how to spend the money, how effectively do the process in different stages of your project, life cycle stages of your project, various methods and principles. So if you know all those things, then it will be very easy for you to do large number of projects. That is a big size of software products. So you got the idea? So with this, we'll stop the class because we have a department meeting by 4:30. I think we'll have next week onwards, we'll have separate classes, A session and B session, I think so, I don't know. But please answer your attendance. And a few students, they said they didn't receive the material. For them, I will send the material once again. And you please try to join the Google Classroom using your Jane Gmail ID. Yeah.
Ma'am,
Yes.
I tried joining the classroom, but I couldn't join using the code.
You cannot able to join the. So in that case, please girl, all of you, please send your Jane Gmail IDs in the same Excel sheet. Already you given me the students details with your email IDs. You add one more column is you specify the Jane University email IDs, so that I will add your names one by one in the Google Classroom. You will get an invite. You can join through the invite, because the Google Classroom is at present created in my Jane University email ID. So only Jane University email ID students can join in faculty Jane University email ID. So you please send me your Gmail IDs in the Google Sheet itself, or you mail me separately. I will cut and invite you once again. Or you can put the same code. Again, I will try to reset the code. If I reset the code, again, I will send you the reset new code.
Ma'am.
Yeah.
Actually, there's two different codes. The one you have sent in WhatsApp was a different code, which was not working.
Yeah, first one I sent, many of them said they cannot able to join. So I reset the code. Then I sent a new code that
Yeah,
B. That is the second code is the latest one. I didn't change after that. But then I discussed with the department people. They said students can join in the because I created in my k.jayanti at say jainuniversity.ac.in. So only the Jain University email ID students can join. Then only it will support like that. They said. So I think at present you got many of you got your Jain University email IDs now, students. You got it. Your Jain University email IDs.
yes, ma'am.
Yeah, that you please share with me. I will add you one by one, or with that ID, you can join through the class code also. First code, I reset to new code. The latest one is the same code. I didn't change. If you face problem again, you please send me your email IDs of Jain University. I will add you one by one. At present, I sent you the syllabus and PPT for first unit. That will go for another 10 classes. So you need not worry. We will anyhow I will update the classroom. If you send your email IDs, I will add you one by one. No issues. If you didn't receive the syllabus and material, you please send me your email IDs. I will resend to you. Those who are not received.
Ma'am,
Anyhow, if you have
thing,
the IDs, you please send me. Yeah, tell me.
ma'am, the materials that you are going to send in email is the same thing that's in the classroom, right?
No, the classroom will accept only Jain University AC.in. It will not accept gmail.com.
No, I mean the materials that you're going to send in email. It's the same that's in the classroom.
Yeah.
Okay.
I sent from the jainuniversity.ac.in. That is my Google Classroom email ID. And I sent the Google Classroom code also. Got it?
Okay. Yes, sir.
You, please share your Jain University email IDs. I will add you one by one. Or you also try yourself to join. Okay. You please answer your attendance. You go through the materials, whatever I gave as introduction. If you have any doubt, you please ask me. Okay. You got it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Shall we end the class? Please, all of you answer your attendance, write names. Because we have a department meeting now. All of you answered your attendance. Okay, I will please answer your attendance. Shall I end the meeting? Zoom class?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I will share you the Monday's class through WhatsApp. Okay, thank you all. Please go through the content. If you have any doubt, please send me mail or WhatsApp message. So if you have any personal issues, you please may WhatsApp me to my personal WhatsApp number, not in the group. You got it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you.